All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is. And right here, we have multi-platinum producer. This individual, in my personal opinion, everything he touches goes platinum within the music industry. We got one and only. We got Rick Rock right here live on the line, man. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, man, I'm Jesus, man. I like that intro, bro. Good looking.
Hey, man, I gotta say, man, it wasn't for you, man. I don't even know where half of all of our favorite classics would be here would be today, man. So just thank you for just putting that amazing production sound on those amazing classic projects.
Man, I appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it.
But I have to ask you, man, taking you right back to the beginning, man, first and foremost, man, what actually made you decide to get into the music industry initially, man? Because you're so talented at what you do.
You know what? The older I get, I find you're more of a traveler. You know, you just go on the journey. And so when I look back, I can tell it was just in me, not on me, and I was supposed to be doing what I'm doing today. And I just went through the path of somebody trying, to explore what they feel like they're supposed to do. Back when I started, there wasn't internet, there wasn't any of that. You really had to get onto the TV set. And that whole journey of everybody that ever did that, I got on that same journey for the love of the craft of hip hop. I chase it childishly. You know what I'm saying? I chase it not for money. I call it childishly because it's just love. And that's what kept me, pushing the love of it.
And also, a lot of individuals might not know. Oh, sorry about that, Rick. My apologies.
No, you good. You good. Go ahead, brother.
I was going to say as well, a lot of individuals might not know this, but you are actually known as a pioneer of the hip-hop subgenre titled hyphy, man. I was wondering, for the individuals that don't already know what that subgenre is, can you tell us a bit more about the hyphy movement? And of course, how does it feel to know that you created something that is still implemented in people's lyrics and production work today?
The influencing part of it is... that's like I said earlier, the love. Ultimately, it goes back to that because to feel that what came from you, because everything I do it's my own stuff. It's never sampled, rarely ever sampled. And so to know when it comes from, the intangible place and where your thoughts are, you bring it to a physical place where people can, enjoy it as well. And they do enjoy it. It ultimately is the ultimate feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a fulfillment of like none other, to be that's the ultimate acceptance. I mean, and as far as the hyphy, it's a microcosm of that because it's like, you never know until you're looking back at it. We were just getting down, and I wanted to always create our own sound in the cities in Northern California, and just in hip hop, I was always trying to do my own sound. And, we just came with that, an up-tempo, hyper, soundtrack for the streets, that was already active. The Bay Area is real crazy. Dance on your car, dance on your roof of your car, open the doors, Ghost Rider. I mean, the different plays, and we needed a soundtrack for that. And so it's a beautiful feeling to know I had something to do with that. That was such a great time in people's lives, including mine. The hyphen movement was a nice, dope time.
And I agree, it most definitely was, man. In my personal opinion, it definitely set hip-hop off, man, for the Bay Area. Because, you guys are known to have that unique sound. In my personal opinion, there's West Coast hip-hop, then there's Bay Area hip-hop. You guys separate yourself from the rest of the West.
Definitely.
But also...
It's just like that. No, go ahead, my bad, brother.
Oh, no, it's all good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's I believe that you're right. I'm not going to drag it on. I think you're right. We definitely are our own subset, but those are big brothers, though, so it's all love.
And also as well, man, in 1996, you actually co-produced 2 tracks on Tupac's All Eyes on Me, Trading War Stories, and of course, Ain't Hard to Find. I was wondering, how did that opportunity arise? And of course, what was it like being in the studio with the late great Tupac so early on in your career?
Man, so it happened, like I said, one of those things when you're looking back, like a series of crazy coincidences that lead you to where you are. And I just I left Montgomery, Alabama. I was living there, and I came to California to work with the Conscious Daughters in '95. And then one of my friends, his name was Mike Mosley. I knew him from California. I lived there before I moved to Alabama, by the way. So when I moved back to California and started getting to the music, I seen Mike. Mike Mosley invited me to live in his studio because I didn't know where to live. And while I was in the studio, you know, we got the, what do you call it? We got an invite to come to the studio to L.A. So we caravan, me and Mike Mosley, couple females, Richie Rich, Sebo, you know, we all like caravan cars out from the Bay to L.A. And we got to Can-Am Studio, you know, and Pop played us his album. And then when he finished, he was like, okay, I don't have no songs with y'all, let's get out. And I just so happened to have discs with me that I had when I was making beats in Alabama. And I actually used an SP1200. And so when he was finished playing his album, Tupac, he said, hey, man, I need to do a song with y'all. And there was an SP1200 there. So, you know, I had a disc with me. I was like, wow, what are the chances of this? So I just slid it in, loaded it up, and pressed play. And then it came through the speakers, these big-ass, big Death Row speakers. And then Tupac was like, what's that, man? What's that? And I was like, man, you know, that's you. You know, they say if you want it. So, and that's how I did Trading War Stories. And then Mike Mosley came with me and Mike did the other one.
And I gotta say as well, man,
That's how it kind of happened. Mm-hmm.
It must have been just such a surreal moment just being able to be in the studio with Tupac, man, because I heard he's one of the most hardest workers you could ever watch.
Oh, man, it was like I said, I made the beat, he said, who is that for? I mean, what's that? I said, man, that's you. And then, you know, he was like, okay, we're messing with that. So he started writing. And I always say, it's like he wrote like he was tracing. You know what I mean? Like he had like somebody already wrote a rap, and he just came with like trace over it or something. Like he like free thought, you know, just pure free thought rapping. Like it just flowing, just writing, and then you know, then he's done it. He goes in there and he records, and he's out of there. Whole process 10, 15 minutes tops. Writing in and recording it out and waiting on everybody else to finish. And you know, it was just a crazy moment. You know, and him just you know he's a loud kind of big personality. You know, and it was just a trip to be in there working with him. You know, so I actually was there when he recorded "Hit 'Em Up" and everything. Just like up in the studio. So yeah, it's really surreal when I look back on it. Like, wow, did that really happen? You know, yeah.
I have to ask though, man, just following up on the hit 'em up topic, did you know like what hit 'em up was? Like, did he tell you guys, yo, I got this diss track, or did he just hit the booth and then you're like, oh shit?
Yeah. Nah, we were in there working on something else. It was like we were around the Soul Train Awards time when he had a altercation with P Diddy or whatever in L.A. And at the Can-Am studio, you know, Lisa Left Eye came over. She was there. Some of the Goody Mob came through because they were all in town for the wars, Soul Train Wars. And then it's like the Outlaws, some of the young Outlaws came in. They the one came in kind of like, yeah, man, these one guys, you know, they talking about this. They told me, you know, they were kind of like putting it in Pac's head, and then they just got onto the song. You know what I mean? And so, you know, it was just one of those types of things, like just like an organic. I got mad, and they were like, bring up a beat, and it just went like that. Yeah. So, yeah.
Like in my opinion, man, "Hit 'Em Up" is like one of the most iconic and probably best diss songs of all time, man. Like, were any of the record executives in there all pissed off just hearing this, being like, yo, we can't put this out? Like, what are you doing? Like, were any of them like that, or people just kind of like all pumped up?
Death Row, man. They was, you know, shit was. You know, I imagine that. I was just there, and I was really young in the game. This is '95. I was, you know, really, really new. 90. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just kind of with Mike and just, you know, a fly on the wall. You know what I mean? So there was nobody in that frame of thought. Nothing in that vein of conversation. Everybody's just like, let's go. You know, it's like soldiers at war. You know.
And also, as well, man, you were actually a former member of the Cosmic Slop Shop. I was wondering, how did you actually meet Lurch and Dooney Baby? I was wondering, what's the story behind that legendary trio?
Well, it's okay. So I was born in Alabama, then I moved to California, then I moved back to Alabama. So when I was back in Alabama, I met Dooney Baby through a friend. A friend of mine, which is the most craziest part to me, he had a car accident and he crashed, but he survived. And he always was saying, well, he was going to pass away soon, and I need to get with Dooney Baby. And I didn't know who that was. I knew him a little bit, but it was more his friend. And so maybe a week or two later, he had a dentist appointment, and he passed away at the dentist. You know, they took his wisdom teeth out, and he ended up passing away. So after that, I decided I ended up going to California via the Conscious Daughters. That was my first way to get out there, and then I got my first check. It was $1,750, and I flew back to Alabama, and I made my promise to Swinger, who was one who made me promise to come get Dooney. So then I came to the Dollar Tree store. He's working at Montgomery Mall, and I just asked Dooney. I said, "Hey man, you know, they're really doing it in California. You know, I can't promise you this, I can't promise you that, but I can tell you we have a real shot out there. And I got your ticket and a place for you to stay. Stay with me, whatever." So that's how I brought Dooney Baby down. And then when I got back from the airport with Dooney Baby, we came to Mike Mosley's studio, and Lurch was there. And that's the first day we met Lurch. Lurch was just in the studio working with Mike doing something. And then, you know, he kept being in there working with Mike, and me and Dooney were working on projects. And then Mike was like, "Y'all should just do something together." And then we ended up doing songs together. And next thing you know, we got to deal with M2 May over there at Motown, I believe it was, or Warner Brothers. Well, I forget exactly what it was. It was one of those. And that's how Cosmic Slop Shop was born. You know, that's my first real production of an album, and kind of knowing, you know, tracking out records and, you know, mixing and mastering and the whole delivering the album and contracts and all of that type of professionalism was like, that was kind of a big first for me with that.
And also as well, man, in '98, you guys actually released a phenomenal album titled "The Family Man," and I was wondering, what's the story behind that iconic record? And of course, why wasn't there ever a second Cosmic Slope record, man? Because you guys just did phenomenal work together. Like your guys' chemistry, all three of you was just phenomenal.
Yeah, you know, there was a lot of personal things happening. You know, a lot of little personal little things that happened. Lurch ended up going to jail. You know, and he's still in prison. He would end up going to prison. And so, but we had fell out a little bit before that. But you know, it was something like that. You know, some people just thought they were bigger and better than the group, which Lurch probably was at the time. You know, we were all new, but he was a real talent, Lurch. Well, he ended up getting in trouble, and the group just disbanded. And then I kept trying to keep going with Dooney Baby and try to get him signed. And then we eventually got signed with the Federation, with Dooney being a part of that. You know, and then we just kept moving on. So.
And also as well, man, in the early 2000s, you actually produced the hit single "Change the Game" for Jay-Z. I was wondering, how did yourself and Jay-Z get connected? And of course, what was it like being in the studio with him?
That being in the studio with Jay was amazing. Like, there was a few of them like that I got to see their creative process at the fullest, you know, and he was one of them. And so it was one of those amazing things. He was like Pac in that he didn't write anything down like Pac did, but it still was an amazing process, because he just rubbed his head and, you know, bounced to the beat a minute, then he's like, "Okay, I'm ready." And, you know, he does this intricate rhyme that he's just stored in his head, almost, you know, it was crazy how his process was, you know. And at the same time, it was a jolting exciting bolt of energy in my body because it's dreams coming true. Like I said, I chased this, childishly, like to be dope, to be good, and then you're in the room with Jay-Z and not only because when I went there, I had a beat in mind, but when I got there, he ended up not liking that beat. I mean, he had a beat in mind. He picked the beat. So I came there with one beat, and then when I got there to give it to him, he didn't want it. So then I had to get down on the spot and save my spot, basically, or my opportunity might go. So that I did on the spot. I did "Get Your Mind right in front of him, and so that was like just overcoming that fear, and then stepping up, and then saving the dream, and then hearing him talk at hip hop and how he's gonna shoot the videos, the parking lot pimping, and it was just all these amazing feelings going on, and feeling of obtaining a goal at the same time, a feeling of stepping up and doing dope music like that you always wanted to do, and the surrealness of being in a moment around a living legend that's going to go on to do bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger things, and you're just a part of that at that time. There was all kinds of things going on in my mind, but it was a great moment, a pillar moment in my life.
And also as well, man, like I'm just thinking about it now, man. Like you went from the West Coast to Alabama, right down to New York. New York, man. You were touching production work in every single coast of hip hop, man. And you know what I mean? Just being able to work with Jay-Z, man, just probably would, in my personal opinion, is probably would blow my mind being able to work with the one and only Jay-Z.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, you saying it right. It blew my mind, and it's. I seen him maybe a year ago, and it was just great to see him and chop it up and stuff. But it's just one of those moments where it's just if the movie of my life, that'd be a good part in the movie, because I was just excited over the hill. Ended up with 4 songs, Changed the Game, Parking Lot Pimpin', Squeeze First, and Get Your Mind Right. I came there to do 1. I ended up leaving with 4. Then I ended up doing a lot of Rockefeller stuff, and so yeah, it was dope. It was real dope, man.
And also, 1 year after the whole Jay-Z stuff, man, in 2001, you actually had the opportunity to produce Lisa Left Eye Lopez's unfortunate only solo album titled Supernova. I was wondering, what was it like working with the late, great Lisa Left Eye? And of course, what was one of your most memorable moments you shared with her? Because 2001 was right around the same time that she unfortunately passed away.
Right. Yeah, she was, I only did 1 song on that album. And I met with her in downtown. No, it was in Hollywood at I forget the name of the studio, but yeah, we were in there. She was a little deep. I get it now. I get what she was talking about now, but I didn't get it then. Way back when she was giving it to me. She was a worker. She stayed in the studio. We were in there all night till the morning time, and recording and mixing. And she had to turn her album in. And she was just that's the only memory I have with her, because we were there all night, and then that was the only time I met her and worked with her. But I know she was and way more enlightened at the time, and she was with the Dr. Sabi and all of that. She was talking about that stuff in 2001. So I didn't get it. I kind of was like, well, why do you think this? Or why do you think that? And she would just, she just talked with me a lot. And that was cool. So, yeah, I thought she was a dope spirit, but I only got to get with her that one time. I wish I had a little bit more time.
People also said as well that she's kind of like the female Tupac, just the way she talks and acts and whatnot. And honestly, just looking back at it now, I can kind of see it.
Yeah, it's the free spirit part. I see where they would get that. It's just kind of what's on my mind. I say that kind of the intelligence in it as well, and the deepness in their eyes. The whole thing. She was above my pay grade as far as getting life at that time, for sure. Which I that's why I wish I could talk to her now, or maybe we could have became friends and talking to this day, and like what I understand now. But she was, yeah, definitely. I get that part where they can compare her and Pac, because they were, open spirits, open. There, not a lot of cheat on them, not a lot of chasers. Just a straight drink with straight Hennessy with them. No chaser. Yeah.
And also, just jumping ahead in the timeline a little bit, on September 2007, you actually had the opportunity to actually produce Chamillionaire's Ultimate Victory, where it actually sold 79,000 copies in the first week, and is notable for containing absolutely no profanity. I was wondering, how did yourself and Chamillionaire get connected, and of course, what was the creative process behind that iconic record?
On that record, we did. There was absolutely no contact. I don't even think I mixed that record. I think he got a beat from a beat CD, probably from Big John Platt over at Sony ATV, CEO at the time. He was at EMI Publishing, and he recorded on that. And I liked the song. I heard the song. I got it. I love the song and everything. But we had no creative process, so I couldn't honestly say anything about that one.
And that's probably around the time as well when the internet was just starting to actually like kind of come a lot bigger, man. So nowadays people can do so much production and they can be halfway across the world. Like you could be out there in like California, they could be in the UK, and you can still put in work together. It's definitely crazy times.
Yeah, definitely closed the gap around the world and put the world in one block vicinity. Like the world is right up the street, so it's definitely changed. When I was younger coming in, we had to get a 2-inch reel. They had 15 minutes on it. You could put 15 minutes with the songs on it, and that's it. So maybe 3 songs, and that was $250. And so it was expensive to even in the studio to play a 2-inch reel. That's going to cost you. So it was a and the technology just evened up the playing field for the creative could get on cheap, and they got opportunities. They got the internet. It's wide open, man. It's a beautiful thing. It saturates the industry with a lot of bad stuff, but at the same time, the good stuff has a way to get out.
And also, December 4th of 2015, you actually released your own studio album titled Rocket. I was wondering if you could tell our listeners a bit more about this phenomenal project, and of course, where can we actually snag ourselves a copy today if it's still circulating the internet?
Yeah, Rocket was my first album. I dedicated that to Mood Swinger, the person I said get Dooney Baby to bring him out, and he passed away, but I dedicated it to that because he always wanted me to do an album, and then, they can find it on iTunes, man. That Rock in my new album, Rocket, the newer album, Rick Rock Beats the album, I'm sorry. They're both online on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, wherever they want to stream, all platforms. Yeah.
And I got to say, it's a phenomenal project as well. And I had no clue that Dooney passed away, man. So I just want to send my sincere condolences to you and say, it was phenomenal that you did a project just for him.
No. Dooney Babies didn't pass away. The guy that introduced us, the guy that told me to get Dooney Baby, we're going to do stuff, his name was Mood Swinger. He passed away. But Dooney Baby's alive and well. He's in Montgomery, Alabama. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, my apologies. I must have misunderstood. I'm glad though that you actually cleared that part up.
I dedicated it to Mood Swinger. That's the guy. He's the one who told me to get with Dooney Baby, and he passed away. So I dedicated it to him because way back then, before I worked with Busta Rhymes and all that, he used to be like, "Man, you need to get with Busta Rhymes. He the dopest. And he just always was in my corner and stuff. And so he always wanted me to do an album. And so I dedicated Rocket to him.
And also as well, man, your most recent production release is actually Battle Loco's Blue Castle. I was wondering if you can tell our listeners a bit more about this new project release, and of course, where can we actually check it out today? Because I was looking at a lot of the promos you put on Instagram, and it's absolutely a production masterpiece in my personal opinion.
Well, Right on. Yeah, they can grab it at every. I just don't have any hard copies. I was hesitant on that, but I think I'm gonna do hard copies. But they can grab it everywhere they listen to music at. If they stream it, they can get it there. iTunes, Google Play, Apple Music. Every title. They could whichever way. They can have it their way, man. They could do whatever, however they want to do it. And it's at it's Battle Oak. The album's called Blue Castle, entirely produced by me, Rick Rock Beats, from top to bottom. It's I love it. It's an album, a throwback album in the sense of it's a front to back piece of work meant to be listened to from front to back, and not just stripped apart and playlisted. But and it's an accurate. It's a depiction of his circumstances, his environment, his city that we've never heard from anybody from San Diego. And I wanted to bring that piece of art to the people that way. You know what I mean? And I think we nailed it. Blue Castle, the album, on all platforms. Battle Loco, produced by Rick Rock Beats. It's a nice piece of work. I think people will enjoy it.
And I gotta say as well, did you think you might down the line might be getting some hard copies for that? Because I do know right now, especially in the music industry, it's pretty much a hit and miss with hard copies nowadays, unfortunately.
Yeah, and honestly, to be 100 with you, I just didn't know if I should, So, but I didn't even know, with my last two albums, I did hard copies, but my last album was maybe 2 years ago, so I was thinking, well, maybe it's just all the way played out right now. But I'm gonna do some collector items type of CDs with the posters and the T-shirt and maybe a little box you can buy. I think that's how I'll probably do that one.
But I have to ask you, aside from this new project that you worked with Battle, I have to ask you, what is next for yourself, Rick Rock, man? Like, is there anything we happen to miss? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote while we still have you here live on the Canadian airwaves?
No. I'm always promoting, so I just want to let them know. Go to Rick Rock Beats. That's my Instagram, and just mess with me. Check that Battle project out. I'm working on a few things, production wise. I got a new album I'm gonna drop. Production wise, I'm mostly a lot of TV shows, but I'm working on Snoop. I'm working on the We40. I'm working on the Western Union. Mount Westmore, which is Snoop, Ice Cube, Too Short, and E40 album. I made about 4 or 5 on there already, and I don't know. So we just keep it on moving. Busta Rhymes. But as far as my albums go, I'm dropping another album soon, and I just want the Canadian people to check out Battle Loc. It is authentic West Coast mob hop, which is hip hop mixed with the mob, which is that the bass lines and sinister synths and stuff. And and it's not killing. He ain't killing people. You know what I mean? But it's a nice piece of work. So I want the Canadians to, what I'm saying. I know y'all are brothers right there, right connected. So just get a dose of my San Diego peoples, man. Battle Loco, check him out.
And one thing I have to ask, going back to the Mount Rushmore quickly, because I know you probably can't let too many cats out of the bag pertaining to this project, but what can our listeners actually expect from this monumental project? Because hip-hop hasn't had something like this, 4 superstars together on one album in a very, very long time.
It's more of the same, of what you love, but there's this Voltron kind of thing that they put together, you know what I mean? Like, when they get together. I don't know. I think it'll be a great moment. It's like and the reason I can only speak on the songs I have, and that's only like 4. What I do? 5, but I think they're just going to use 4. So it's hard for me to speak on what other records they have. But I've seen them perform one song, and I loved it. So I love what we did, and I just think it's 2021. It's like the old school, but 2021. They just they brought it back. So I think it'll be a cool moment for West Coast if they finish it. They got a lot of stuff going on, and Ice Cube is doing the Big Three right now, and they got a lot. That's the thing about these big stars, just locking them all down and finishing it up. But yeah, I think everybody will be pleased.
It most definitely sounds like a phenomenal project, and hopefully with the way the internet is nowadays, maybe instead of locking them all down in one room, they could also send their stuff throughout the internet to each other as well. So hopefully that can be a thing, and hopefully we could actually see this project sometime.
Yeah. Hey, I thought it would be out by now, so don't ask me. I can't tell no lies. So I think it's all just them just being able to have the time right now. Because they should be done. I mean, they probably have like 50 songs by now. They've been working.
But also, Rick, this is the time in the interview, man, that I give a chance for the individual that slides into the radio station airwaves. Like, just chance before we wrap things up, a chance to give, like, shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to. But most of all, man, if you can, I know you dropped your Instagram handle just recently, a few moments ago, but if you can, drop all your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything Rick Rock if they're not already doing so.
Okay, yeah. It's Rick Rock Beats, RICKROCK Beats. That's at Instagram and Twitter. My Facebook is Rick Rock Music, and that's basically it. So I'm really on my Instagram thing. So if they want to get at your boy, like in real time, I'm real active on that. So yeah, and I just want everybody to check out my guy Battle Loco. The album's out right now. Slap Nasty, Clap Blappy. It is, it's right there in them speakers for you. So I want them to make sure they check that out, get a good bar. And yeah, that's it. Battle Loco, Instagram. Check him out there too.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, man, thank you so much for just giving us a little bit of your time this evening and sliding into the radio station airwaves. But I also gotta say thank you, man, for just helping to give birth to so many legendary projects, man. In my personal opinion, you deserve so much more credit than what you deserve, man. Like, your catalog that you produced is so extensive within hip-hop, man. So thank you for just giving us so many legendary projects, because without the producers, God knows where the music would be today.
Man, and I love that you love the music enough to get at a producer like me. We're the other guys. The underground. They just the heartbeat. And so I appreciate you for having me, even, putting the spotlight on the producer, so we just keep trucking along, man, keep going. That's it.
Most definitely, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you got to tell me the spot to go to in Canada when I come out there, man, to eat. I don't eat meat, though, but yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. If you ever go to the Toronto area, Toronto or Ottawa, man, they pretty much have anything you could possibly imagine, man. So you just look up Google what kind of food you want. I'm telling you, if you come to Ottawa or Toronto, you'll have a long list.
Oh boy, yeah. I've never been out there, man. So yeah, that's something I have to do.
Hey, man, most definitely. You got to try the poutine when you're out here as well, man. It's a Canadian delicacy. I don't know if you heard of it, but it's fries, cheese, and gravy mixed together.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of cholesterol, but it's delicious.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what's up, though, bro.
Hey, man, most definitely, man. But I appreciate you again, Rick. Thank you so much, man, and definitely have yourself a wonderful night, man. Hopefully down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon.
Man, I appreciate it. Whenever you need me, just let me know. It's all good.
Most definitely, man. Anything you need radio-wise as well, man, hit me up.
All right, family.